All right, I'm back for DustCast's ongoing coverage of Fragicago 2024. I'm here with Aureo, the head coach at Limitless, following their elimination in the semifinals today against Nouns. So to start, how do you rate your team's performance in that match? It seemed like it actually went pretty well for a squad against one of the NA's best.
I think we're pretty happy overall. I mean, those guys have so many years of experience, and they're such incredible players. So, to take a map off them and be competitive throughout the next two was pretty solid for us.
And it seemed like a very nice event for you guys overall. Like you mentioned, you did take down Lag in the quarterfinals, and with that, because it's been a real struggle, I think, for this Limitless squad in ESL Challenger League, in part because of having to use those two stand-ins. But overall, I don't think you guys have necessarily seen the results you've wanted this season thus far. So it's kind of good to finally find some wins, especially on LAN.
Yeah, I think it's really encouraging, especially in kind of the first big tournament for us using or without using those two subs. I think it's really encouraging. We are able to run some shit that we practice. Sorry about that.
You can swear adult show.
Cool. It's really nice to be able to run some things that we practice. Get some set stuff down and take some good results.
And then part of these good results, I think, has to go to you, as you're the most recent addition to this Limitless lineup. I feel like you're a relatively new face to the NAC, and only having, I believe, started with Supernova back in 2023. How did you get your start in CS, and where did you come from?
So I was a player for the last 5-6 years, playing in the lower levels, kind of grinding it out. Didn't really have the time to commit, but I kind of started to take it seriously a couple of years ago, and then I developed carpal tunnel in my wrist. So from there, I had to make a pretty quick switch to coaching, and from there, I've kind of accelerated up. Started with Supernova, turned into, Cyberstorm, turned into Supernova, and have climbed the ranks from there. Gone from main to ECL in less than a year, so pretty happy.
And yeah, that's a pretty precipitous rise in your coaching career. What do you attribute that to? Like, what skill sets do you think you particularly excel in that's enabled this rise?
I think managing, players and making sure everyone's on the same page, everyone's kind of in check and not, getting in their own heads or anything like that is, I don't know, it's one of my strongest suits and, something I think I do really well and bring to the team.
One of your other previous roles was with the organization Perseverance, where you had that roster with, I believe, like Andrew and Mason and some of those guys. We kind of know that roster obviously, fell apart after that advanced playoffs, but the org itself, Perseverance, has sort of been in the headlights recently, just for the teams they've fielded, their ambitious plans to host a big LAN. And a lot of people have sort of felt that this owner, Kiki Alexander Schroeder, has come out of nowhere. Could you tell us anything about your experience playing under the Perseverance org? Like, what are your impressions of Kiki as a member of the NACS community?
I overall had good impressions of him. I didn't talk to him too much. We had a couple Discord calls here and there for the whole team. I had good impressions. He was a pretty nice guy. Didn't interact with him too much outside of those calls, though. So.
And what's it been like with the Limitless org, one of those organizations that's been around in the NA scene for a good number of years now?
It's cool playing during an org that has such a reputation. I've heard about these guys for the last 5, or maybe a couple of years, and to play under an org like that is pretty cool.
As we head into the back half of the ECL season, at long last, you'll finally be able to use Sandman and Cyrex. Do you think we can expect to see strong results from the team now that Wiz and Tender are going to be taking their leave of the standing position?
I think so. I think Wiz and Tender, everyone knows, are incredible players, but playing without players that you practice with makes a giant difference. And so with Wiz and Tender, we were coming to games, having to kind of fill them with roles as we go and things like that. I think having two players that we're practicing with, running strats day in, day out, getting scrims with is going to make a huge difference.
What was that? What was the sort of the process of using Wiz and Tender? Were they part of the team's practices at all, or did they essentially just connect to the server and play on match nights?
We would have them show up, just a little bit before matches. If there was anything we wanted to go over or run in particular, we would show that. But other than that, it was pretty much show up and play, which is tough.
So the team right now is sort of sitting on the precipice between relegation and staying into season 49. Do you guys think you have what it takes to sort of get those last few wins to make sure that you finish ahead of the likes of like Take Flight, Revenge Nation, and those lower tier squads?
Absolutely. I think scrim results have been looking encouraging, and I think we're making steps forward. So I'm really looking forward to the next couple games.
Looking towards the rest of the year for Limitless, can we expect to see you guys at any upcoming lands? Have you guys made plans to go to the Frag X Tap or the upcoming Frag 18?
We are not sure. I think once the Frag 18 venue gets announced, we'll be a little bit more certain. I think we're hoping to get to Frag 18, but we'll have to see.
Okay. So that's Aureo, the head coach of Limitless, and we'll see them back in action in ESL Challenger League next week. Thank you so much for your time. I'll let you get preparing for your next matches.